Thank you very much. 6 minutes after 7 o'clock, 7:06. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. We have a guest in studio with us this morning.
Yes, we do indeed. Steve Waugh. He is running for Maryland Senate from District 29, and you're only a week away from the primary.
Indeed. Good morning.
How's it going? How's the campaigning going?
Oh, it's going great. The campaign is just day and night. I leave my house about 6. I get home about 9 every day.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a hoot. I'm having a good time. I get out and meet thousands.
Standing anywhere waving to motorists as they travel by?
Yeah, actually, I love doing that in the morning. There's 4 places I go: Charlotte Hall, Great Mills, California, and then up in St. Leonard. And I get to see thousands of people in the morning on their way to work.
And then what do you do? Just go to work after you are out there?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
I go do that for about an hour, and then I head in. I go, be a rocket scientist for about 8 hours or so, and then I'm back out in the afternoon and the evening running around to places and events.
So that's what you're doing. You're a rocket scientist.
Yeah, actually, I'm a systems engineer, and I work for Johns Hopkins, the Applied Physics Lab, and we do kind of high-end engineering, conceptual design, system architecture, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to do that. That I didn't.
No, you decided not to?
And I didn't. So, your main opponent, the guy you're running against, Roy Dyson, he's been there for a while. And,
94, I believe? Or
yeah, he's been
sometime
in the state senate since '94. He has actually been elected since '74. He started out as a delegate for a couple of seasons, and then U.S. House of Representative for 5 until he was defeated by Wayne Gilchrist, and then he took a season off and then came back as a state senate.
And this is not your first rodeo. You've ran before.
No, I ran in 2010. Almost beat him on the first try. Got 48.5%. So.
Well, let's talk apples to apples here. Why should someone vote for you as opposed to voting for Roy?
Well, it's pretty simple. Is that what Southern Maryland needs is a state senator who's going to go up and represent their values and actually work hard for them every day.
And you feel that Roy's not?
No, he's not. And I think we have ample evidence that, the same guy who's been up there and hasn't stopped any of these tax increases and hasn't killed off anything, then he's going to continue to go up there and fail on the job again.
It does seem that there is, I don't know. I hear a lot of lip service when people are running for office. They say, "Well, I'm gonna decrease taxes and we're gonna stop tax," but it never seems to happen. So you're gonna go up there. Let's say you win, and you go up there and you run into this juggernaut, this tax machine that is up there.
That's what I always think.
How do you? I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, as I like to say, jobs are the issue, taxes are the problem, and spending is the cause. They're all linked together. In that if we want jobs, we want good-paying jobs, then the only way that we're going to get that is that we have to stop these taxes. You guys were talking about the VMT.
Right.
And the 80 other tax increases that O'Malley has given us. That all stems from runaway spending. O'Malley's run spending up by 70% in his 8 years. So if you stop the spending, then they don't have a reason to increase the taxes. That slows down, and then hopefully we can grow some jobs.
So what specifically, when you're talking about spending, where are you going to stop spending?
Where would you cut? I mean, because you are going to get blowback from people who are used to getting, whatever grant, this or that or whatever. I mean, what would you cut out of if you had a red pen?
Yeah.
Go for it.
That's a very good question, and there's 2 places to start. Number one is you stop the rate of growth. For instance, this last year, they just started. In fact, a month before the session, they just said, okay, we're going to raise spending by 4%. And they just picked a number and went for it. Didn't even check the check register to see if they were going to have the money. They actually ended up being short. But that's the first stop is stop the growth. And the second thing is that there's a bundle of spending that's legislative initiatives. It's basically an entire section on just pork. And that's an easy $37 million. You cut that right there.
So not just pork up in, D.C., but Maryland has its own as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All the legislatures will pass these bond issues, and it's basically we're going to go swipe the credit card and then act surprised at the end of the day. We need to stop that.
I think, listen, I'm not saying you're off the mark by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know how you stop a mindset that it becomes so accustomed to, and Annapolis has just become accustomed to just spending whatever the hell they want to spend, and they just make it up on taxes. How are you going to? It's like you take a fat guy to Sizzler and then just tell him you can only go to the buffet once,
or just hit the salad bar.
How are you going to keep him from going back to the chicken wings?
Well, I'll tell you, as a Marine getting stationed in Navy commands, I found that power of persuasion was really important, in that the way that you got things done was coming to work and working hard every day. And it was even more entertaining as a Marine in an Air Force command when I was overseas one of the last times. So, number one, you got to go to work every day, and you got to get to know everybody. You got to understand where they're coming from, what's their agenda, and then working that with them all of the time. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is that you got to walk in with a clear vision to say, look, this is where the state needs to go. This is where we're suffering right now. These are the things that we've got to change. And then you've got to give them opportunities to make those decisions that they can consume and they can take home to their district.
We've seen a mass exodus of jobs and companies leaving Maryland. And well, people go where the work is, and the work is leaving Maryland, and people are leaving Maryland with it. And how do you get companies to come on back to Maryland?
Well, you got to make Maryland competitive. A few years ago, we had Northrop Grumman that was leaving California, and they were looking for a place to come. And Washington, D.C. is always going to be a draw. Well, they could pick between Washington, D.C., Virginia, and Maryland. And they didn't pick us.
Right.
And that was because...
Well, it's like Boeing, too. Boeing out in Washington looking to move and do. And Toyota totally left California and went to Texas.
Absolutely. Businesses are very mobile today. You know, and you got to face the fact is that we're working in a global environment. It's not just a national environment; it's a global environment.
And the governor from Texas, Rick Perry, actually came to Maryland
and made fun of us for the rain tax.
How
bad is that? How bad is that?
Well, what's really bad is when they come into your house, make fun at you, and our only retort is, "Yeah, well, shut up. That's why."
And then sleep with our sister and go back to Texas.
Right.
Look, bottom line is that we lack competitiveness because of the tax situation here. We are taxing businesses out of existence. We have lost thousands of businesses. We are losing thousands of people every year. Retirees depart the state. I mean, I can't tell you how many guys I talk to are 64.5, and their bags are packed.
I know.
And it's because of the tax situation here, is that we brutalize our retirees. We're driving people out of the state.
And young kids, and you have...
you have no idea. Let me tell you, my son...
They can't stay here. They have to leave.
One of the great moments in my life as a parent was when my younger boy, Philip, got his first paycheck, and he was literally digging ditches for the water company, $10 an hour, right?
Right.
And he gets that paycheck, and he looks at it, and he's just like, this is awesome. And then he saw how much tax was coming out. He's just like, what the hell?
Right.
Sure.
And I was just, all right, another Republican.
What's SSI? What's FICO?
Who's this FICA guy I want to fight?
Right.
So, and then, I know another kid who graduated with my older boy, and he graduated from Maryland with 2 degrees in science and technology, and he was still looking after a year. We have a horrible environment that we have. Our kids now can't even find a job. So we've got to change things. The only way you make it competitive, the only way that you bring jobs back is that you got to reduce the tax burden on businesses and individuals.
It's so obvious. I mean, this is some. I mean, this is not even a.
But you can't do it. Listen, and I'll tell you why you can't do it, because we spend like crazy, and people they like that check from the state. But whether they like it, and they're going to vote for the guy or the gal who's going to continue to write that check and pay them.
That's part of it, but I'll tell you what, there's not that many people out there saying, you got to give us more, you got to give us more, you got to give us more. If we just manage to shut it off at the at the spigot up in Annapolis, you got to convince those people in the House and in the state Senate. And there's only 47 guys up there, so send me up. There's only about 30 more that I got to work on, and.
Well, you were a Marine.
Right.
Hey, it's only 30 people. How hard can it be?
Right, exactly.
But anyway, we got to work on those guys, and we've got to convince them that they are killing this state. I mean, I
don't know how you do that. I swear to God, I don't. It seems so obvious to me, and I look at it, and I'm out here trying to make a living like everybody else, and I look at the condition that Maryland is in, and again, I'm not putting this in your basket, but then I see a commercial for a gubernatorial candidate, and she says, "We'll just sell drugs. That's how we'll pay for everything. We'll legalize marijuana. We'll tax the hell out of it." Well, I don't want to be a drug dealer.
How much money did
no other solution?
Yeah, how much money did we just spend making tobacco, out of business?
Right.
And now we're going to bring back marijuana. I'm curious if we can let the farmers that used to grow tobacco start growing marijuana.
Grow pot. Sure, that'd be nice.
I think we should allow them to do it. Absolutely.
Why not?
Well, why ship it in from California or wherever? Let our farmers
Well,
do it.
I'm afraid that decriminalizing marijuana is going to pay some really bad benefits here in the near future. As we start seeing our kids become addicted to drugs and they're going to start looking for other things, it's only going to make our heroin epidemic that much worse.
So you think kids being strung out on drugs is a bad thing?
Yes.
That's a
Shocking
conundrum.
stuff.
I know it's a huge leap to
I
make,
know.
but
Well, it'll be
Yeah.
a shock to Annapolis because they love it.
Oh,
I
they
know.
really do love it. Now, let me ask you this. Let's go back a little bit. And was it just the state of the state? There was something that you said, that's it, I'm running.
Yeah, what pushed you to run?
What pushed you? Was there a defining moment for you where you said, that, you know what, I've had
Why don't
enough?
you just stay like me on the sideline screaming and yelling?
Right.
No, I can't say that it was a single moment. I think it was in 2006. I really felt that the country was taking just a horrible left turn, and looking at what I was seeing our leaders do and say at the national and at the state level, just inspired me. I said, "Look, I gotta get out there, and I'm gonna stop yelling at the TV and do something about it."
Right.
Because I'm not the kind of guy to sit on the sidelines and grouse about stuff. It's
I am
I'm
that
gonna
guy.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get involved. So I actually went out and started looking around and said, well, what campaigns can I get involved in and how can I make a difference? And I couldn't find one to get behind, so I was just like, all right, fine, I'll run. And
I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not one to watch.
Okay.
Now, you're also a pilot.
I am.
How's that been going for you? Any crashes
Good
lately?
and bad. Good and bad.
Because you were in the news a while ago, and you were flying your plane with your youngest son, Philip, correct?
Yes.
And you were flying home or coming back to the area.
Yeah, we were coming back from Chicago.
And from Chicago, that's a nice little flight.
It was well, it was entertaining.
Until the
Till
end.
last part.
And then
Yeah.
what happened? Because you were landing in Lusby, correct?
Yeah, I flew into a tree. I mean, just
It happens.
yeah, it's stick throttle interface, as we used to say. Is that it's totally my fault. As I was making the approach, we were landing at night into the Ranch Club Airport,
Right.
which some folks don't even know there's a little airport.
Yeah.
up
Oh, yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
But we were landing at night, and it was really rotten lighting conditions. And as it turned out, a couple of vandals had been out and kicking over runway lights.
What's your
prior.
stance on vandals? Taking lights.
Yeah, I'm not for it. Not for it. But anyway, and the other fun effect was all of the leaves had dropped off of the trees. So it turns out that runway lights can shine through trees that don't have leaves on them.
So you're all discombobulated.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
into a
And
pine.
so I was just about to land, or so I thought, and then this tree materialized
Oh,
in the
my God.
landing. Yeah, it's the most remarkable thing you've ever seen.
Oh, I
But you're
bet.
fine.
And-
Your family's fine.
Yeah, I have some aftermarket parts.
Yep.
After a few surgeries and trip to the mothership in Baltimore, to Johns Hopkins Medical. Then
Oh,
I'm-
that's
I'm
nice.
doing
Did
fine.
you know people there when you showed
Oh,
up?
eventually, yeah. I got to say, when I was first medevac to Prince George's Hospital, that was not a happy thing. I managed to get out of there after a couple of days and get taken up to Baltimore.
I can't say as I blame you.
Really? You didn't? No, seriously. You had a problem with the service that you had there?
Oh, it was horrible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, there's
'Cause
nothing
everybody-
nice I can say about that.
I
Yeah.
hear everybody is medevac to there.
Yeah, the law basically is you have to be medevac to the nearest trauma center, and
And that's
Prince
the nearest.
George's happened to be nearest to where my aircraft accident was.
R-
So I was
oh,
taken
okay.
there.
So here in
And-
Southern Maryland, that's where people are taken to.
Yeah, generally speaking.
And then
yes.
you grabbed your hospital gown and limped over to Johns Hopkins.
Yeah. After they messed up my leg really badly. They messed up my face. They actually sewed part of the airplane into my head.
What?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. What now?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I could go on for hours about
That
this.
is
but
just adding trauma to trauma.
Yeah. Well, during the accident, obviously, I got beat up pretty good. It
Right.
was like 15 different fractures. I was kind of a mess.
But Philip was okay.
Yeah, Philip was fine, and that was the absolute miracle. That's the only way I got through the whole thing is that
That
Philip
he was
did not
okay.
get hurt. Yeah, once I knew he was okay, then I could just laugh at myself.
Sure.
But when I got to Prince George's, they sewed up my face because I had a lot of major cuts.
Right.
And anyway, then
They forgot to take a part out.
yeah, they forgot to take a part out. And when I got up to Johns Hopkins and they were getting ready to do the facial reconstruction on me, they re-X-rayed my head and they're like, "Well, we're gonna have to take this piece of metal out."
Oh my God.
Doctor,
It
what about
was-
this landing gear?
it
Put it
was-
in his face.
Yeah, it was actually a piece of my tip tank that whacked me in the head.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I got one question to ask, and then I will throw it to you before we let you go.
Yeah.
One question I'm trying to ask everybody because it's been such a bone of contention with T and I. Miracle Whip or mayonnaise?
Oh, mayonnaise.
Well, it was nice talking to you. Stand no chance.
Now, before we let you go, is there anything that you would like the listeners to know before, the primary, which is coming up on Tuesday. Next
well,
week.
number one, early voting is going, so you have an opportunity to get out there and early vote.
Do you like early voting?
It's okay. I think it's a good opportunity for some folks. Like I have a lot of friends that are going to be traveling on business that day.
Gotcha.
And so it's a good deal for them to be able to go over and vote. And it's actually very, very low turnout during early voting. So
Right.
you can breeze in and out of that place in a heartbeat. But I just would like to remind everyone, hey, June 24th is the primary day, and please go out and exercise
People need
your
to go
right to
out.
vote. This is,
Ask
I got to tell
Eric
you,
Cantor.
this is something that as a Marine, I went out and I fought for. And I can tell you that a lot of my friends put their lives on the line, and some of them have paid that price so that you can vote. So please go exercise it.
It is, and you're spot on correct, and not enough people take part in the system. But if you want to learn more about Steve and his run for Senate seat number 29, you have a website.
Yeah, Waugh2014.com.
Waugh2014.com. And for folks out there, how do you spell Waugh?
Oh, Waugh.
All right.
Waugh.
All right, listen, good luck to you. We'll see how things work out.
Thank you, T-Bone. Thank you, Heather. It's
Thank
been a lot
you.
of fun.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm a big fan, by the way.
Well,
Thank
right
you.
back at you.
Thank you very
722, phone lines are open for you. Let's get a check of traffic, see what's happening on the roads.